From our studios in Olympia, Washington, TCTV presents South Sound Seniors, news and views featuring the people, places, and events that impact our growing senior community here in the South Sound region. Our program is presented as a community service to inform and involve you and yours in the lives of older adults. Your host for South Sound Seniors is the Executive Director of Senior Services for South Sound, Eileen McKenzie Sullivan.
Welcome to South Sound Seniors, a program for and about older adults in our community. You know, every other month we get the chance to have people from the Senior Action Network here on our show. And this month is one of those great months, and we have a wonderful show lined up for you. But before we get to meet our guests tonight, I want to thank the folks here at TCTV, because without them, we wouldn't be able to come into your home and bring you really good information for older adults, whether that's you or whether that's somebody that you know, family member or neighbor. It's really good information, and I'm really glad that you're here. And again, thanks TCTV for making it possible. So tonight, I'm going to go through all the names here. Sherri Gillette and Marilyn Richards.
That's right.
And Don Peterson. And all of you work at memory care facilities here in Thurston County.
Yes,
right?
we do.
Yes. Okay. So we have two, Garden Court on either side, Sherri and Don from Garden Court, and Clare Bridge is where Marilyn is from.
Right.
And there is another memory court facility in Thurston County here that's specifically the Hampton, correct? And I know there's other memory care units or wings or something of other facilities as well.
Absolutely.
So I guess the first thing we should talk about is what is the difference between assisted living, a regular assisted living, and memory care? Who'd like to start with that one?
Well, I'll just bring up the fact that all three of our buildings, with the Hampton included, were purpose-built. So the structure of the building is excellent for people that are suffering from memory care issues.
Yes. Okay. So when we talk memory care issues, we're talking about memory loss, Alzheimer's, any kind of dementia from other causes, right?
Any kind of cognitive impairment.
Okay. And when you say that the building was designed for folks with memory problems, that means just the studies that have been done, what works best for folks with memory impairment has been kind of incorporated into how the building was designed.
Absolutely.
Yes, and the programming. Right. So I would say, if I may, that assisted living, there's assisted livings out there, but we are also all assisted living under the boarding home rules and regs, but we are memory care enhanced. So in a regular assisted living, they might do some medications, help with some bathing, some dressing, that type of a thing. But it's more independent, where the activities are geared a little bit more towards a little bit more independent people. Where in a memory care facility, there's just a lot more staffing there at all of our facilities and the Hampton. Just a lot more staff to take care of those ones that do have the memory impairment. So.
And they're all trained. We're all trained in mental health and dementia.
Yes.
Our entire staff. Management, all of the caregivers on the floor, activities directors, and they guide the residents. You know, everybody is guided, don't they?
Yes, everything's pretty much initiated by the caregiving staff, where in a regular assisted living, the caregiver's job is really to give just basic cueing, knock on the door and say it's time to come down for lunch, breakfast or dinner, or we're having bingo at 2 o'clock in the activity room. In a memory care community, we really can't rely on our residents to be able to follow through. With the short-term memory loss, it's easy to forget once they've walked away. So what the care staff does, or the activity staff, is they invite them and they have pleasant conversation and really direct them and walk them to the locations. And I think what Dawn and Marilyn were saying about the nursing staff ratio really is different. The way you care for somebody who has, just needs a little bit of assistance versus somebody that has dementia really is significantly different, because is communication, and whether it be verbal or nonverbal communication is important. And that simply just takes more time. So the ratio may be, where in a regular assisted living, a CNA may have 20 people on a shift. In a dementia care community like ours, the nursing ratio is less than half of that. So you really do have the time that's needed to direct people with dementia.
Yes.
It sounds like your staff, all of your staffs, would need a lot more training too, on how to approach someone successfully. And
Yes.
And
Yes,
that's
ongoing.
true, because there's so many different behaviors possibly, or needs, you know, of those individuals. And if they're afraid, they have anxiety, they have to be treated very, very calm and cool, and exchange some nice words before we proceed to the dining room or to activities. You know, just make them feel comfortable, because it's their home.
It is.
And we're a part of their home.
Absolutely.
right. Okay, well, let's say somebody's at home and they've been caring for their loved one, whether it's a parent or maybe a spouse, for a while, and they've been forgetful and it's progressing. How does somebody, what are some of the red flags that somebody should really pay attention to when it might be time to consider a memory care facility?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
it's hard because they're in denial. Families are in denial, I have to say, for the most part.
They are,
you know, unless they see them on a daily basis and they say, "Mom, it's time to go shopping. Be ready at 10," and Mom's in her jammies.
And it really takes a lot of, like you're saying, a lot of education out there, you know, with the caregiver support groups and that type of thing. I think that, you know, red flags, there's all sorts of red flags. I mean, starting to wander, you know, sundowning at night, where a lot of people don't know maybe what that sundowning is, but getting up at night, in the middle of the night, they're kind of roaming around, they're getting their days and nights mixed up. If there's no locks on the doors, they might be walking out. We have, you know, there's people that we've all found that families are coming in and they've found them in the middle of the road, that type of thing. You know, starting to not being able to cook for themselves. You know, let's
All
not
kinds
have
of
the
horror
house on
stories,
fire.
yeah, right.
You know,
Right.
So
Yeah.
all sorts of red flags out there.
Aren't there some red flags too, just in terms of the caregiver's health, if they're getting so stressed in the caregiving that it's affecting their health?
Oh yeah, and I think that
red
that's a
flag.
huge, because a lot of times the caregiver, you know, is so stressed that they need some kind of a break. And again, that's that education out there, letting people know that there is places to go that they can have a break, whether it's for daycare at the senior center, at some of our places, and or it might be some respite care,
Right.
you know, for that caregiver, to give them a little break, to give them, you know, if they want to go on a vacation, if they want to go just shopping, you know,
Right.
at the mall or just grocery shopping, whatever. So.
And I imagine,
And oftentimes they enjoy that once they're
Exactly, they
experiencing
do.
respite care,
Once
can
they
go,
do
"Oh,
it."
I can come and visit my loved one."
right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes it a really
I
nice
think sometimes it actually helps strengthen a relationship, especially
Absolutely.
like a
Yeah,
spousal
absolutely, to get a
relationship.
little bit
Well,
of
even
It does,
Right.
totally, totally.
And I think when you're taking care of a spouse or a parent, I think that it's really easy to kind of do what you think you have to do and go day to day, and you really don't realize the toll that it's taking on, you know, your stress, on your health, on your daily living. And I think some of the signs that you need a little bit of a break are getting, you know, fatigued, getting angry with your loved one, lashing out at them, which is normal. I mean, it is very normal to get angry and upset when you're going on a day-to-day basis with these stresses. But recognizing that you need to get some support, go to a support group, hear other people talk about their experiences with their loved ones, and, you know, get a little bit of respite, whether it be an in-home caregiver for a couple hours a day so you can go out, or a lot of communities like ours have daycare and respite at their community. So it takes that toll off of the person, and, you know, a person can become resentful if they don't have the break that they need, and
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
And get
frustrated easily.
So you've all mentioned, I think, support groups. So I think Marilyn, you were saying your support group is really for the residents' family members,
Right,
primarily.
right. We do some real close-knit groups. And, you know, we've expanded on some levels with some other, you know, big-time speakers, you know, that have been very helpful, that are well-known in the community, or possibly a geriatric specialist, that kind of thing. Then we'll have a bigger gathering. But for the most part, we like to really get to know our new members and get them to know the rest of the families, because we're a smaller community than theirs. So
how many residents in your?
we can maximize at 64, but we run about 60.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little smaller.
Right. And Dawn and Sherri, you have caregiver support at your place, but Sherri, you also go out in the community and help facilitate.
Yeah, I do, realizing that it's hard sometimes for seniors that are caring for a spouse to, you know, travel all the way into Olympia. So we've started doing some outreach in the Centralia area, and we have a support group in Centralia, one in Yelm, one in Rochester, one at Garden Court. Those are all usually on a Tuesday afternoon. Lunch is provided. I get information from the Alzheimer's Association and handouts, so it's all relevant information. But most importantly, people can connect with others that are going through the same thing, and they end up supporting each other and sharing phone numbers and just being there for one another.
That's the best part.
That's the best part.
And feeling like you're not alone.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, totally alone. I think that's helped a tremendous amount of people.
And comparing their
these caregivers.
stories.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
there can be different challenges. The hygiene has been a problem with a lot of folks, you know, and it makes it so difficult for them. And they're embarrassed.
Sure.
But it's something very important too.
Yeah. Well, I have been into both of your facilities and a number of them, and we really are blessed in this community to have some wonderful memory care facilities. I think we're really fortunate. Lots of caring people that work at those facilities.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are very blessed in this community.
Yep, and we're proud of what we do.
Yeah, we're very proud and passionate for what we do.
So if somebody is considering, I imagine, where a facility is located, they probably would want it close to their home or their work, so that would be an issue.
Yes.
What else would you say to somebody that's trying to pick just the right place for their loved one?
Well, activities.
I think,
right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking activities are very important, because oftentimes I'll ask families, you know, so what does your loved one do? Oh, he watches TV and looks out the window. Okay, you know, and that's not really the stimulation that they need. And so we talk a little bit about what they like to do, and then incorporate it into the activities for the day. Don't you think?
Yeah,
I think it's also about, you know, it's definitely that, and it's also about just finding out what they used to like to do.
Right.
You know, before, you know, like when they were younger, or as they aged and they were doing a lot of activities, or they were fishing, or they were, you know, doing some things that maybe they're not doing now. And so, again, trying to integrate some of those things into the program and stuff. I think it's really important to find out from their loved ones, you know, what they really liked to do, you know, so.
And not only that, I think that everybody, you know, whether you have dementia or not, we all have a need to have a self-purpose and a reason to be, and have accomplishments. And I think quality of life is really important when you're working or talking about somebody who has dementia. It's especially important. They've already suffered so many losses, to have the opportunity to engage in things that they once did and feel a sense of self-accomplishment when they finish folding a basket of laundry, or help cooking dinner, or are able to go out to a restaurant and have lunch. So activities are really important. I think that it really does help manage behaviors associated with Alzheimer's and dementia, simply because, you know, they're having a quality of life. They're not having that idle time to look for their children and their long-term memory. They may be thinking that they need to be someplace else, like work, and keeping them engaged not only occupies their mind and gives them something to do and look forward to, but it also distracts from those behaviors like wandering and agitation and sundowning.
And keeping them active, definitely active. So.
Okay, so can somebody just call and make an appointment to come in and check out your facilities if they're interested and know it's something they're going to need to be dealing with?
Absolutely, and I think for all of us, they can call or they can walk in, you know, and get a tour, and any of our staff will help. If Sherri and I aren't there, then they can help. Or Marilyn's not there, then somebody else can help.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, we like to show them around. We like to get them a feel of the community. It's not just how it's laid out, it's what we do, and it's about our residents and how we treat them. So,
Absolutely.
yep, they're family.
Yeah, well, thank you all for the good work that you do in the community, and also for all the good work that you bring to the Senior Action Network.
Thank you, and same to you.
Thank you.
Yes, we
Yes.
appreciate
Yes.
it. Thanks for the
Wow.
opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much.
In case you hadn't noticed, there's a great energy at work here in the South Sound. It's called SAN, the Senior Action Network, and the name says it all. The collective knowledge, experience, and commitment of dozens of organizations and service providers represents an invaluable resource for older adults and their families. Truly, SAN is there when you need to reach out. Find out more, visit their website, or call us at 586-6181 and get on board as we celebrate live.